Alright, folks, we're here for the third episode of the challenge series. The front-wheel drive challenge concept sort of fell short because there are literally only 9 front-wheel drive cars in the series. And they're in 3 separate categories, so Shoji Hakuya would just win all of them in his 675 Civic. So, just kind of doing away with that. There will be, however, the four-wheel drive challenge in this episode, although that'll only be a single race. You can kind of see the representative of that on the right. And from there, we basically just kind of freestyled. So, yeah. And also, these pictures are usually like 3 of the cars that are used in the episode, but they may not be the most prominent ones. Like, I mean, in this case, they maybe are, but like, in other episodes, a car might appear in this picture that maybe didn't even win the race. Actually, did all 3 of these win the race? I don't know. I guess we'll just have to find out. For the first race of festivities, we have the previously mentioned 4-wheel drive challenge. As the panning out camera always tardy to zoom back in. The driver, at least that I played as, is one Otto Koskinen. Koskinen? I think it's Koskinen, because that's just kind of how Finnish names are pronounced. Don't be fooled by the American flag. This is a Finnish driver. I just can't change my own name. I don't really think there was space for that, Otto, but sure. Now, being that everyone is 4-wheel drive means that you can get away with driving that you wouldn't be able to get away with in other cars. Otto forces himself into situations that he shouldn't be in, and somehow he just manages to get away from them. Traffic. And the Nitri is up ahead in the 625 car. This was an open class race because there honestly weren't that many 4-wheel drive cars either. I think there were like 22, and this race has 18 of them. And mind you, 2 of them are driven by the same person. Oh jeez. I don't think this camera gave you at all the idea of the nature of that pass. Here we go. Yeah, Otto just sends it in on like 6 cars here and gets the moves done by sticking it in the bottom of the chicane. He gets crossed by Taniguchi there, but that's about it. The AI take that corner weird. One driver who's making their first appearance in the series here is Andreas Vitalis, a Greek driver who seems to fancy the Lancia Delta. And he is obsessed with the Greek alphabet, to where he's sponsored by Omega Lubricant and calls himself the Sigma Mindset. I think he's full of it, but whatever. Hikari already barely slid his way ahead of Jay Parker. Otto will go around the outside of the fellow Lancer driver. He was expecting a send from Parker that never happened. As we attempt to look a little further back, as another vehicle that's making its first appearance is R4C3C4R. It's a self-driving AI. Wired to the controls of a Porsche Taycan Turbo. Now we know these two have history, so this will be interesting. Well, it should be that move pretty easily done there. Until that, okay, yep, oh, just shoves Otto right off the course. Yeah, he did miss the chicane, but he didn't deserve that. Otto making his displeasure known. Taniguchi will seize the moment and pass the pair of them while they're busy bickering like school kids. Oh. Making turn one's overrated. And finish him! That'll demote Craig a ways back. Oh yeah, he has to wait. He can't rejoin the track as there's cars at the apex. He now elects to continue, but he has lost 5 places courtesy of, well, if I may be honest, something that he kind of started. It is Dakota Kingsley and his converted trophy truck versus the world. At least versus Taniguchi and Wayne Hansen. As those are cars, you know, 2 categories above his little F-150, as I think in the background we just saw Koskinen maybe, complete a move on a 750 Murcielago. The truck's got power. Like, it's not in 675 because of its horsepower. Or it's not 2 classes lower because of its horsepower. It's just down here because it's a truck and it weighs 2 tons. He's pushing the vehicle. You can see him breaking loose even with the 4-wheel drive system. Otto just places himself down the inside and uses the maneuverability of a car versus a truck to make the pass. He is now doing a bit of trolling on Hikari Taniguchi as we head down the main straightaway. The Lancer, with a few hundred less horsepower than the R34, is actually keeping about even with top speed thanks to the slipstream. It was a very weird turn 1 for Taniguchi, but he managed to make it just weird enough that Koskinen couldn't take advantage. Turn a little further back, but honestly, other than this battle between the robot and Diva, there's not much. There are like little half battles going on, but there really isn't a whole lot. Because the robot is just hounding the Celica, but doesn't feel like it needs to find a way by, apparently. Craig Thompson wants to at least recoup one of his lost positions on Parker. Can't get to the inside there, though. Meanwhile, at the front, the battle continues between Otto and Hikari. Again, even with the 4-wheel drive system, that's not keeping everybody from losing their control of their vehicle a little bit. Otto thought he was going to send it on the outside there. Honestly, he didn't. I think this next set of corners will be his final chance, and it's not much of a chance. This isn't much of a passing zone. But Hikari's been kind of weird through here. Yeah, he's botched it again. Koskinen, a bit of contact, but he gets ahead. A bit of curb. A bit of corner cutting. But that's his. Otto Koskinen is going to take the victory at Catalunya. So he certainly recuperated from that first potluck race. And, I think I saw a GG signal hand out of the window of Hikari's car. That was either GG or maybe I was seeing one too many fingers there. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, that'll do it for the four-wheel drive challenge. Wasn't really much of a. I mean, it was a challenge, yeah, but it wasn't it wasn't like a series. And next is when we head on to, well, whatever's next. Well, no duh, Riker. Alright, for the second race of this episode, we have a more unique event. We have a multi-class race upon us. As, it's a grid of 16 cars, but it's 8 cars in the 750 category, and 8 cars in the 575 category. So, you can be 9th place and still win, you know? I expect a much closer racing to come at the higher categories as Tyler gets into me a bit. It's a very dodge top 4 here. Ellie doesn't seem to like those terms of service and denies them, denies the contract. I feel like Samuel is finally starting to understand why I told him it was a terrible idea to put this car in 750 instead of 675. Yeah, it's neat and all that you're going for a car that's got like NASCAR horsepower figures. But you're at like 5th gear and your tires are still spinning. Like, that's not good, you know? And Eric's stuck behind him helplessly. He can't find a way around the Superbird because we've passed all the passing zones. Apparently it's not just that Superbird doing it, but the Carrera GT is way faster of a car. It is still a Mopar top 3, and Parker's basically trying to make this the Stars and Stripes Invitational right now. It's a battle of Love Live idols. There's, Ellie is... What the hell? Ellie is chasing down Green. I think the Viper has the superior power figures. Ellie just got some hang time there off that little hump. Okay, I don't know why everyone's car is doing this. Meanwhile, as you look in the back of the field with the 575 cars, this class is always very spread out. Okay, everyone's tires are skidding. I was figured, okay, they're just going really fast. No, because these cars are going down the main straightaway at 110 miles an hour. And they're still doing it. Wow, Nico Yasuo has just absolutely pulled away from the field here. Second place in the class, Sotokov, is like 16 seconds behind already. We're 1 lap into the race. So I think we just keep the camera here on this top 5. There's no one really else worth putting in. There is no battle in the back half of the field. Nico is in the next time zone. I know there's such a thing as home track advantage for Nico. All the Love Live girls live in Tokyo, but like, oh my god. And then, you know, we do have 2 Love Live reps in the 750 category, Ellie and Reen, and neither of them are in the lead. They haven't found even a way to get close to me and Tyler. Speaking of me and Tyler, Tyler just sent it upon me into the hairpin, and I wasn't ready. So there's a lead change. So yeah, definitely keeping the camera here. But we both have a lot of horsepower. So I'm going to get my behind right back up to that Hellcat and sneak back ahead of it. All the work you just did, Tyler, useless, undone. You have been overtaken. It seems the Corvette is slightly lacking in top speed compared to everything else, where everybody else is easily hitting 190, the Corvette's stuck at 188. Not nearly as bad as Hikari, though, who's at 181, and Samuel, who can barely get over 170. Meanwhile, we have Nico, who's doing 155. And counting. It's gonna be 160 by the end of the straightaway. Yeah, that's nuts. I don't know how Natsuki got back ahead of Ivan, but it's not to last, clearly. So they don't have that beat that the actual AE86 does when it's doing over like 80 kilometers an hour or something. Or I think it's 110 kilometers an hour. It's 80 miles an hour. I thought this thing would be going faster in a straight line. Yeah, the Devil Z might rule the Longan Highway in the anime, but here it's a pitiful 126 miles an hour. Oh god, this cornering speed. Eric has still yet to find a way to deal with anybody here in the top few. Top 5 and top 6 really in this category are still under a blanket together. Not much degree of separation between any of them. Ellie's got quite a run going down this main straightaway. She's gonna try for a move on your fellow idol quick. Somehow, some way, it just seemed like the Viper found an extra, like, 15 horsepower and pulled back clear. Tyler has lost my slipstream, which is only costing him about 4 miles an hour, but it's still allowing Reen and Ellie to catch up. Ellie is gonna have a half send on her, same thing with Eric versus Parker. Ellie about puts out Reen in the wall, but they do keep it clean-ish. Parker manages to defend from Gwozdowski in the F12. Hikari is missing out. The Skyline does not have the top speed for this. Okay, that's sad. Yeah, Samuel, don't look now, but there's a 575 car that's catching you. I can't remember, I was gonna hit the wall. And you can see the 575 cars down there. This was a 10-minute endurance race, so we're coming up to the last lap here. As Eric is sort of sending it on Johnny Parker. It doesn't look like much of one, but it's enough to grab the spot and run with it. Ewa's got a bit of a run on McIntosh going down the main straightaway. Not a much of one though. I don't think it's going to be enough of a speed difference to allow a pass. Reen's got a run on the pair of them. And she's going to be the one that takes both places as we've come across blue flag traffic, and Reen just about runs me over. And then about runs herself over because actually Tyler I think might have gotten into her. Oh, goodness me. Reen is just totally out of whack. Ellie totally lost that encounter. She's now behind even Parker. She's down to the back of this little train as Reen has taken the lead away from me. But I think we're still going to run into a bit more traffic before the checkered flag. As yes, here is the traffic. Sayori and Haneo running nose to tail, but the blue flags are flying, and here come the leaders. So they're gonna have to get out of the way in a second or face the consequences. Reen and myself navigate Sayori. And just barely do I navigate Haneo. JJ West manages to stay out of the way. It seemed pretty routine, honestly. I was expecting it to be more chaotic. And Tyler giving JJ a bump going into the hairpin. Camera. And so, unless some crazy top speed shenanigans happen here, it looks like Reen Hoshizora is going to be the victor, but I've got a lot of overspeed. It's gonna be a drag race at the line. It's gonna be me! I wonder what the margin of victory was on that. So there's the winning margin there. Not by much. Oh, darn it. I'll just do that. So there's the margin of victory at the line. And that's like a bumper width. But the race isn't over yet. No. As, oh my lord. You cannot be serious, Samuel. You just got embarrassed like that. That little girl, basically. I know your prime is behind you a couple years, but that's just sad. Might want to find a new car, Samuel. I don't think the Superbird's going to work. You have your Hellcat that does, well, a little better than this at least. But yeah, so we had a 575 car beat one of the 750s. Yeah. Nico almost lapped Isabella. You know, somebody in the same category as her. So that's a chaotic mess of a race. Maybe it wouldn't have been as weird if, you know. I think next time use 625s. Make it a little more close for the second category. Because it was basically a race for second that I haven't won. Alright, for the third race of the episode, we have a 625 car, or category race. And we're riding along with, Alice in Chains. Like Allison, like A-L-I-S-S-O-N. Chains. A-L-L-I-S-O-N, actually. Last name Chains. In a Dodge Challenger that honestly I was surprised to discover that all of the parts were still in the car. I suppose AutoZone has some contribution to that. I mean, look at the thing. This thing looks like it belongs in Wreckfest. And, well, this is part of Thrasher's crew, and Thrasher told me two things about her. One, she will run into everybody, and two, she'll run into people who are driving a Mustang even harder. He didn't elaborate, he didn't exactly explain whether there was anything wrong with this person, as she just absolutely junks Lynette Mulsanne in her A110 there. And Travis escapes it for a corner. Oh, two-wheel moment. Getting too aggressive for her own good. I feel like that's going to be a running theme here. Oh yeah, just slams into the MR2 of Kitano. Slams him off the road, gives him one more nudge for good luck. Ultimately got off easy compared to Mulsanne though. Oh god, it's a Mustang ahead. Where's this going to go? Off the track. Oh my god. The Zombie's just been absolutely screwed over. Because of what I understand to be a petty revenge scheme that has nothing to even do with her. Does she count 4 drivers as Mustang drivers? Oh, who am I kidding? She's gonna hit him anyway, yeah. Nudge, see you later. Nudge. To wheel in again. It's one of those things of like, I shouldn't even have the camera on her. I shouldn't even be giving the screen time, but it's just like, it's so tragic that you just can't look away. And Tyler attempts to get out of the way. And actually succeeds in this matter. Allison leaves him alone. Not Natsuki though. Just gets into her twice in the one corner. She's nearly sideways heading down the corkscrew. And on her way. Nudge the Volkswagen. Although he won't be easy to spin, he's got front wheel drive on his side. He's still there. He's actually forcing the issue on this maniac. That's a bold strategy. Is there like something wrong with this person? Like, is she okay in the head? Is she like bipolar or something? And here's the real reason why she's like this, at least as far as I'm aware. This Axel Valentine is her ex-boyfriend. That's why she hates Mustang drivers. But she also wrecks literally any car that's in front of her, Mustang or not. So it's really hard to really like specify. You know, honestly though, looking at this pace she's showing, if she would get her head out of her ass and drive like a normal person, she could probably very easily win the race. She's made her way up the field this far, despite all of her contact. Axel is aware he's trying to change the lane, he's just trying to get out of the way, I think. Bit of a tap. Nico, you might want to take evasive action here. Allison waits. Welcome to Ford Junking 3. Oh yeah, here we go. Takedown, into the gravel, see you later. Allison puts herself in the gravel in the process though, but honestly, don't think she necessarily cares. She wrecked her ex-boyfriend. Not much though. Can she manage to, as I said, get her head out of her ass and catch back up to the 2 leaders? It's kind of looking like it. She's got a power advantage over at least one of them for sure. Green, I'm not so sure, but My corner exit. What does she do to the Yaris driver? Nudge. Oh, Nico's having none of your shit, Allison. Nico just straight up turned her. And she got that nudge and just ever so slightly nudges her in the quarter panel, and off she goes. Oh, that's the camera angle we're looking for. Oh! Karma! Although disconcertingly, what this has also done is put Allison back behind Valentine. So that might be scary for him. I'm sure Nico probably somehow cognizant of what Allison did to her own friend Nozomi back here in last. Yep, there's a nudge. You aren't making no corkscrew. I don't know how Axel kept that on the road. Other nudge. Oh goodness, that just lifted his rear wheels off the ground, and that's a done deal right there. You weren't satisfied yet, Chains. Now Valentine's actually going to lose places, and lots of them. You don't get much better than that for a takedown. Like, it's just that's that simple. Allison's not totally out of this, as we have some form of combat for position back here, but not much. Tyler's gonna try and sneak on Umi, but it's not gonna get him anywhere. God, Valentine ended up in last from that. Oh my lord. He was stuck in that gravel for ages. Oh, good one. Yep, great job. Great work, love your work, Allison. It's a little tiny Yaris. Come on. Hit her like you mean it. Because I'm sure you do at this point. I'm sure you did before, but now you definitely do. You know, if Allison had just passed Nico like a normal person there, she probably could have won the race. Oh boy. Good one. Yeah, it didn't even affect it. Nico literally is just not taking your horse crap. And she's gonna finish ahead of you. Because you don't have the horsepower for that, and you take one less swipe at her. It's like the only time you hit her, pretty much. You can beat the crap out of your ex-boyfriend, but you can't even take out a little girl. How does this make you feel, Allison? Probably pretty stupid. Let's see in the next race, though. It's just hard to watch. Hilarious, but hard to watch. It's like one of those very terrible rom-coms. For the fourth race of this episode, it is the 675 race. I was like, what is this? I forgot. This was recorded yesterday. 675 category. I'm playing as Lynette Malsan in her A220 race car. Malsan, if her last name is any indication, has a history of endurance racing, so she's more than familiar with the circuit of Spa. And she's actually getting a bit of bump draft from Bradley Hunter behind, and uh-oh, right into Thrasher. Luckily, this tiny little car versus that big Mustang barely even moves the thing, so it's not like Thrasher is super affected by that. Samuel is in his safety car, hoping for some kind of redemption after whatever the hell that Tokyo Expressway race was. Part of me was like, do I try and stay G-rated for this series? Because obviously in Unhinged, I absolutely did not. I think swearing, but only when it's absolutely okay, goodbye, what the heck? Mary McCormick has left this plane of existence, I guess. She just does not want to do Fuhan today. Uh-oh. There's a wall. Ow. I think that may be a brake balance issue. The Mulsanne and Thrasher continue to have minor contacts. The Thrasher is just all over the place trying to keep up with that race car. But it does not avail him. Debuting vehicle in this race, although not a debuting driver, is Eric Wojciechowski has obtained the services of Ferrari Testarossa for his 675 category events. As Mulsanne has clearly misjudged Blanchemont there, managed to keep the car alive. We do not enforce penalties here, based on the sort of honors agreement that everyone's going to at least make an honest effort to stay in the track limits. I'm sure Mulsanne didn't want to do that, as Tyler, I think, is defending from R4C3C4R, but finds himself on the curbs and will lose the place to the electric car. My own dad is the leader in his Tony Stewart clone. Seriously, that's literally what this is. Just Tony Stewart's 2001 NASCAR to represent the year I was born, but with the number 77 on it. Here comes Lynette in her A220. For 270 horsepower, this thing's got some straight line speed. It also makes downforce without a rear wing or front wing, so that's just kind of weird, if you ask me. It doesn't have a rear wing. There's little tail fins. That's not a wing. And somehow the downforce it generates is comparable to that of the wing on the back of this Taycan here, or my dad's RCF, which actually doesn't have a wing, so never mind. Tyler has now been overtaken by the Testarossa as well. Eric does break away from his typical design here for this Testarossa. But I don't remember how he came upon it, but I don't think it's his, if I remember right. I don't know, I'd have to inquire later. As the robot sends it down my dad's inside at the first Stablo corner, but cannot stick. Second Stablo still there. They are at the exact same speed, pretty much. I think slipstream for the Taycan, but the better exit for my dad, so they're gonna break just about even here. The Porsche will move my dad out of the way, and that will be how he takes the place away. Thrasher still continuing to break loose. there's a bit of a train behind Michiko Taniguchi here, but other than that, and Thrasher being all over that Hellcat safety car, there's not a whole lot going on up or down the field. Well, now we have Eric, who's attempting to make a run at my dad. He doesn't really have any overspeed, though, so he's just gonna have to tuck back in and wait. He might actually just psych my dad out here, really. Eric is not good at shifting. He does that a lot in his other cars, too. He'll just, like, max out the revs like that. Dad is doing everything he can to keep this Ferrari at bay, and the robot is doing anything it can to try and get up to that A220, but with only a couple corners to go, I think this kind of goes to the Alpine driver here. Oh, that's a lot of curve. That's no good. Oh dear. That a suspension failure? Hitting that curb and just bouncing into the air. That's gonna lose her the race. It just straight up got lift. Yeah, that's just not great. There's not really much of a reason why the car just left the ground there. She does eventually skirt herself back to the track, much to the chagrin of my dad. So she salvages second place, but that should have been an easy win if she'd just taken that last corner right. Instead, the win will go to a robot. We're letting the AI take over, guys. Come on. This McCormick continues to flounder around in the back of the field. So yeah, that'll settle matters here. After the heart-stopping demise of her A110 at Laguna Seca, the misery just piles on for Lynette Malsan as she now gets basically robbed by the curb and the game physics of a victory. Like, yeah, obviously it is partially her fault. She could have just stayed on the racetrack, but also like the AstroTurf doesn't do that. So we'll now head into our potluck event to cap off the episode. We begin the final race of the episode at Monza, the potluck race, as per tradition for now. And here we are with Dominic DeFrisco, who's got an absolute rocket off the start. I should probably put the race info on the screen. Gina is out of control. Not really sure what was at play there, but she has missed turn 1. This is her home track, basically. I just want to remind you. Technically speaking, it's really hard to say because technically her home track is Monza, but her home track I think is also Tsukuba, or like, I don't actually know where Yokohama is in relation to racetracks, but she has a home track here in Monza, and she's also got a home track somewhere in Japan. One lap into the race, and Dom DeFrisco has already made his way from last on the grid to third. Not even a lap through the race, so we're like half of the lap through. As Reen is stuck behind Gina. Tyler wanted to take advantage, but Delesmo's not a passing zone. Doesn't matter, he'll just get ahead here instead. Hanukkah had a run enough to do the same thing, but finally Reen changes lanes, and There's not space there. Don't do that. They're forced on the outside, forced over all of those curbs. If we were playing the F1 games, I think Hanukkah would be dead. Oh, goodbye. Now it's Tyler's turn to get stuck behind somebody and be screamed past. Looks like Macintosh will eventually make quick work of Hikari once we reach the turn, as he proceeds to have a lot of oh crap moments through Parabolica. Hanukkah, yeah, there's just... It's a 675 car versus a multitude of 750s. There's a lot of high-rated cars ended up on this grid. Hanukkah's going for that from back here. I don't really know if that's the... Yeah, no. Try again, sweetheart. Appreciate the optimism, but sometimes even your optimism is too much, Honk. Guess that is her nickname. No, she didn't tell me to call her that, but everyone else already does. So I just figured I might as well do it too. We've got all the 675s getting ahead of the 625s. No, not all, most of them. Well, no, this is a 625, so yeah, they're all ahead of each other. We have two 575s, Schwartz and Isabella are in the field. And, oh, Wayne. Right, these are fast cars. I sort of forgot for a second. I know I was ahead of Wayne at some point, as, I'm gonna go up like 40 seconds. Oh, he's tried to have Max Verstappen me. And then he has all-wheel drive, so he just takes off. Now we're back to present time, and he is just pulling away. All of the horsepower in the world can't save me from this. Tyler is looking to pass the Viper into Parabolica. Brian Stevens is getting a good ticket to the show as these two continue to duke it out as they now head down the main straight at Monza. Rain with the much better run though. Tyler's gonna tuck back into that slipstream and oh boy, does this thing need slipstream. He's gonna go for another one down into turn 1. He again Verstappen's Reen forces her onto that inside curve. That usually makes, well, certainly would make an F1 car bottom out, but Reen's Viper does not care. And she will more than drive away with the position. I don't know if Tyler's got anything more to offer to the Viper driver or not. It's shaping up to be a battle for the lead of the 675 cars as well. Gina desperately trying to hold off Hikari and June Summers. She can at least get a category win at one of her home tracks. This is like her birth track, not her home track. It's kind of weird. Meanwhile, DePrisco has begun to catch me at a rapid pace. Just rear ends me. I think he didn't know what lane to take on me. He's getting into my quarter panel. He's on the grass, and he's still gonna scream ahead of me. He's got a bit of distance to make up on Wayne Hansen here. Although a turn 1 like that will certainly help. Yeah, we got June Summers trying to make a move on Taniguchi for second in her category. And it looks like she will get it done. She also's got a run on Gina, but she takes it, maybe? No. No. Yeah? No. No. Yes. What on earth? Okay, so despite leading off for like 12 seconds, she still had a run on that RX-7 and screeched ahead of it. And then there's like a battle. There's a train that Sebastian Sham is heading for second in 625s. But I think the place to keep the camera is going to be this battle for the lead, obviously. As we have encountered lap traffic up here in the form of Isabella Flynn, who's going to get in the way of both of them. Force Wayne to slam the brakes. Dom doesn't do so and just rear ends the guy. And now I feel like is a good time to mention that these two do not like each other. Especially, or rather, Dom really doesn't like Wayne Hansen. He's literally here in a revenge scheme against Wayne Hansen from a street race that they did 5 years ago. Where Wayne Hansen, desperate to win the race, spun out Dom into a tree, wrecking his Diablo and leaving him to the police that were pursuing the two drivers. After a 2 or 3 year jail sentence, he has managed to track Wayne down to the Challenge Series and is here more or less for a revenge scheme as much as he is here to actually race. Thrasher really seems to like him though. So don't be surprised if things get very physical. I'm honestly not even sure if Wayne knows that Dom doesn't like him anymore. Or at this point. Because they used to be friends before that happened. Friends-ish. Call them more amicable acquaintances than friends. Oh yeah, there it is. There's the smack. Wayne is forced off the track. The game resets him. And because he's got all-wheel drive, he actually gets the better exit from it after getting wrecked. Dom shockingly did not attempt to sideswipe. Wayne basically brake checks him after encountering Schwartz, and Dom goes for another attack. This time some innocent barricades have been taken out in the process. Those did nothing to you two. Into the Lesmo, more contact. Almost puts Wayne in the grass, and that's the place back for Dom. As the peaceful sound of birds chirping definitely juxtaposes the blood sport that's going on here for the lead of this race. Wayne's got another move. He's going to take it cleanly anyway, and Dom's not having it. Forces Wayne on the curb. His line is all out of whack. He's so out of control. He's obviously in his own head right now because he's trying to get back ahead of Wayne and stay ahead. Oh, goodness me. Wayne did well to hold on to it there. Oh, goodness. Again, he still keeps it forwards. There's Shoji in the way, which Dom will then use as a pick to attempt to escape the Lamborghini. Trying to make a hit-and-run maneuver, but that Lamborghini has so much horsepower that he cannot hope to escape it. Wayne just, like, predicted that. He just, like, Matrix dodged the guy. Another attempt puts him over that curb, and he has reversed Verstappen, Wayne Hansen, and that might be the last nail in the coffin for Wayne Hansen there. He got put in the gravel trap and lost a lot of speed for it. He is definitely still gaining on him into the second chicane. The amount of power this Lamborghini is packing is absolutely nuts. And it's all-wheel drive, so it's not too difficult to use, and therefore even Wayne Hansen knows how to use it. I eventually did manage to slowly crawl my way back to this battle, but a little late, honestly. A very fast Ascari for Dom DePrisco. One more straight, I don't even think the Murcielago can make up this kind of space in one corner, or one straightaway, so... Try as it may have done. A passive entrance to Parabolica, but Hansen has slid wide, therefore meaning he's taken revenge, and he's taken the victory here at Monza as Dom DePrisco. Hansen settling for second. I'll round out the podium. And it's a very distant fourth place for everybody else. And so, that'll wrap things up for this episode. There's a lot of crashing in this episode. We got Otto Koskinen getting his revenge on Craig Thompson for episode 1. We have the entirety of Laguna Seca with Alice in Chains going on a road rage, Burnout 3 style, and being made to pay for her troubles by a little girl, basically. I'm sure I'm gonna get nut punched by Nico later if she hears this commentary. I'm calling her a little girl, like, you're 5'2", okay? Like, come on. It's the easy joke to make. Leave me alone. Obviously you're terrifying. You stood up to a probable psychopath in a rusted out car that looks like it could have been like a scrapped a design idea for roadkill, for Twisted Metal. And you had a little Yaris, and you stood up to and defeated the Dodge Challenger that took out multiple cars, including your own friend Nozomi. But like, it's still the easy joke to make. And then we had the second half of this race, which was basically just a blood sport between Dom DePrisco trying to take revenge on Wayne Hansen, and Hansen passively just keeping the car as much under control as he possibly could. Which is weird, because usually Hansen is kind of aggressive, so I figured he'd fight back. But that'll do it for this episode. Next time around, I don't know. I'll probably think of something by the time next time around hits.